Does anyone else like Rivendell? Because today we've got a little extra Age of the Rings gameplay for you. I've got a couple of 1v1s I played versus Melitsana, who I believe is also sort of a promising beginner to the genre like me. At least I think so. Maybe they're a veteran and I'm doing them an injustice, I don't know. But that was sort of the vibe that I got from it as well. I'm playing on the green House of Rivendell, in the bottom left corner, and in the top right corner we've got Melitsana up on Rohan in the red. Not Rohan, I'm sorry, Gondor. Gondor! Where was Gondor when Rohan called? I'm opening with the old Rivendell orchards, of course. I like 4 orchards. I feel like I can do 4 orchards and then go straight into a production building after that. It's a tad greedy because if someone went straight into production right off the rip, they could have stuff in your base maybe a little earlier than you were expecting. But I think we got enough time. Got a little bit of goblins to the east of us. Up to the north, there's a warg den. We've got these 3 points across the river. There's a river that runs through the middle of the map. There's a ford up top, a ford way down the bottom. Both of them have kind of watchtowers that you can capture that give visibility around the area. And then there's a wide passage straight through the middle. There's even a couple of towers around there, actually, which you can garrison, I believe. At least one tower. But I'm going straight into the Bree-land encampment to train hobbits and men from Bree. Getting up also an early Rivendell forge, nice and close to the base, hopefully to keep it safe there. The forge is what lets me get upgrades, but it takes time. As it generates resources over time, it levels up, and then once it levels up, only then am I able to actually start getting the upgrades for it. So I'm coming over here and I'm putting my Dunedain gathering right in front of it, actually, which helps to protect it as well. And indeed, we've already got some Lamadin clansmen, some early Gondor swordsmen coming out. I've got some of my bounders, my hobbits, headed out towards them like ships in the night they pass, but I see it coming right away, and unfortunately he jumps right on a new orchard I was building, so I cancel it and start running, and we send the bounders back home to do some protection. Another round of bounders coming out as well. Do we have audio? I feel like the audio is maybe not working. Well, maybe it's okay. The bounders are going to chase down these swordsmen. We've got another set of swordsmen coming in as well. But I'm on him quick enough, so we ought to be able to deal with him. He is running to try and just keep me busy. So we keep one on him to keep him honest, and we retask our second one over here to deal with the other interlopers. Now they're on the encampment here, which I believe actually has a fair bit more hit point. 3,000 health, while it's only 1,500 for like a resource building. So attacking an encampment is much more difficult early in the game. And we've got fast rangers of the north out, which tear these infantry apart. Archers tend to be very strong against the likes of swordsmen. We could see here, rangers of the north, versatile unit that can be upgraded for different situations. Starts with bows, strong at range. And we got some spearmen coming in up there. To the south, his swordsmen keep running, relentlessly pursued by the bounders. Eventually they stop, and I think the bounders beat them up there. We retask some hobbits to come back and protect over there, while our front line with the rangers are going to keep pressing forward. We catch some of his men out front, and we find a very forward farm, so we could start tearing that down with the bounders, while the rest of the troops keep his infantry honest. We're continuing to chase him. He's pulling back. He's just trying to keep some of my units busy. In the east, my halflings catches his swordsmen that they were chasing, and you can see them hopping up and down, having a great time, dancing. They won their battle there. We get some Dunedain outriders out and about, and they come to help out. We've also have switched our rangers of the north into spears, because I think I missed it, but he pulled out some cavalry right away, and we did a quick spear switch that let us kill him. More and more cavalry coming out. We've got our own cavalry over here to help. We're starting to clean up a couple of farms. These bounders down here find a little farm, and they're going to start on that as well. So at least 2 farms down for the enemy. And we are just moving around. I'm tasking some bounders here. I'm tasking the spearmen over here. Some more bounders up here. We're just trying to tear apart infrastructure wherever possible. Our Dunedain outriders turn to try to fight. He's got some Pinath Gelen riders and also a whole bunch of infantry out and about. we've got more and more reinforcements showing up, some more outriders here, some more bounders running into the back of his base. Again, I'm looking for infrastructure that I could tear up. He's got some cavalry and he can give me some trouble here because he's got swords that are cutting their way through my spears, and the cavalry get into the back here and tear up some of my Dunedain archers. They handle one charge, but it puts them really, really low. Meanwhile, we're doing good work. The Breelander Town's Guard are tearing down his blacksmith up here. This is at least injured. That's injured. We actually didn't get those kills, unfortunately. I thought we did a bit more damage there. But he managed to get some soft targets and chase us back. The rangers that got trampled actually make their way all the way back home. Meanwhile, the various stuff, the bounders I got into the back of his base are tearing up a farm. We're able to do a little bit of damage because he charged his knights in onto the Breland Town's Guard, but their swordsmen ought to win this fight if they just stay, and they've got some extra spearmen too. So he's eventually able to clean this up. Our little haggard group of bounders down here also cleaned up a farm, so we've done a lot of economic damage to him. He cleans up the last of my guys in his base. He starts rebuilding his farms, but he's absolutely in the back foot. He's got a pretty decent standing army here, you know. 3 units of cavalry. He's got swordsmen, spearmen, bowmen ready. So he's got like 6 units of archers, but 6 units of soldiers, but I have rebuilt my army as well. I'm at 400 command points. I'm at 388, he's at 400, so he even has a slightly larger army. But my Dunedain, I think, are a higher quality than most of his troops. So I turn one of my Dunedains into spears, one of them, maybe 2 of mine into spears, because I know he's got a lot of cavalry. We got some Tookish archers, we've also got some Breland Town's Guard, so a whole lot of spears in this force to punish him. And our own outriders are coming out. I've been expanding slowly but surely. We're grabbing some tech, or the capturable buildings, but I haven't suffered anywhere near the economic damage he has. So now we're running in, we get a really good charge with our outriders straight through the back, take out his archers. We're also go all the way around the back and we pull out his, crash down his swordsman too. And he's in big trouble now. He just can't handle these sort of casualties. We send the outriders around the east to start tearing up that farm over there. The remainder of our melee troops, like our Breland Town's Guard and some of our Dunedain, managed to clean up most of his infantry, and he is pretty cooked at this point. He doesn't really have the economy to be able to rebuild. He's down to maybe 100 command points. I'm at 400 or so, and the writing's on the wall. I think this one's just about done with. More cavalry show up. We're about to tear this one down. He's got some spearmen out, but I'm managing to just sort of keep them busy with my infantry while my cavalry ride down whatever else we could find. An old beleaguered archer unit up there. His cavalry come out, but we've got Halbarad, our hero here, and the rangers of the north switch into spears and go in and stab those cavalry down. These rangers switch into swords and they go start chopping up the archery range. That's actually going to take a long time. I thought they would go a little faster, but that archery range is pretty tanky. His spears come up here. We catch one of his workers and chop it up, so that's a nice win for us. He manages to get his spears and kill a whole bunch of outriders, but we've got a couple different groups now, so we're running circles around him. We're chopping up what we can. We're just trying to, keep him paying the micro tax. And meanwhile, we're trying to do our macro as well. Another array of extra spearmen backed up by rangers of the north, our Dunedain rangers. And it's all going great. We pop a many meetings somewhere. I didn't even see where we did it. Oh, over here in the east. Many meetings calls in extra troops from other factions to help us out. So we've got some swordsmen, some Westfolders, some Halafiran warriors, and he's just in big trouble because we managed to clean up all of his farms in the back of his base too. He really has like one resource structure left, I think. We're chopping one more on that side with a couple of random cavalry we have, and I think he's about to tap out any second now, because this one's all over except for the crying. There's another unit of cavalry out, but I've been wise to his cavalry ways, so my force is very heavy on the spears at this point in time. Aragorn himself is coming out. Another 2 outriders are coming in. And we are running around his base in a merry-go-round. He manages to get his cavalry onto some sword rangers. do some good damage to them, but that's about the only win he's gotten recently. The new Dunedain Rangers, or Outriders, show up. They immediately trample down his swordsmen. They immediately trample down his archers. He doesn't have any pikes that can keep them safe. I open up the Hall of Fire, ready to pop it down, and we call the game there. GG, 1-0. And we got a second game. You get a 2-for-1 today. So we pop into a second game where I switch to Rohan, and he opts to continue with another game of Gondor. I didn't catch the name of this map, but this is one that has there's like a cool party happening in the middle. A feast from the Bjornlings, basically. A nice little mead hall kind of here. Everyone's having a great time. There's dogs. There's someone passed out over here. There's a great party in the middle. And funny enough, the party actually gives us visibility of the middle, so both players can see if someone's walking through the middle. And then you have these outside lanes outside of the mountains that you could take to get to the person's base from the outside. There's a big troll in the corner guarding an inn, and on the other side, a troll guarding an inn. There's also a barrow white, which can be really nasty. One barrow white in the top and bottom middle as well. So I'm playing Rohan this time. He is Gondor. Gonna go with a very similar build as before, I believe, but I don't know Gondor very well enough to be able to critique it at this point. Rohan, however, is probably my second best. I'm probably a Rivendell main, and then I dabble in Rohan when I'm trying to expand my horizons. Rohan has a unique system where their farms that produce resources for them can get switched over into military buildings, and they can make their infantry for them as well. So you can make your peasants your standard sort of swordsmen, and your yeoman spearmen, who are your standard spear users. So what you do is you switch them over into like training mode, you make a guy, and then you switch them back into production mode, and they'll start producing resources. So I open with 2 quick peasant units. One heads south, one heads north. I'm thinking I'm gonna loop around the outsides and give them the business. These guys actually see the barrow white here and then back off for a second. I didn't want to run too close to that and end up losing anyone. And then I see him running up through the middle, and I think I retask someone back to deal with him, because again we've got the Lemedon clansmen coming in. Nope, I don't retask anyone. We just start training some extra peasants, and I've got a quick archery range online. We're going to start with some bowmen. To the east, the peasants are trying to catch a builder, but he sees them coming and backs off. So we're going to see if we can chop up this granary before these spearmen can pull us down. And then to the west, these peasants find an undefended farm, and they ought to make a good work of that. His swordsmen catch up to this field. I do have peasants out to deal with him, but he manages. It's sort of a tough engagement. I don't really get enough surface area on my men, on my unit onto his unit, so we don't do enough DPS really to bring him down. So he does manage to get a farm off of us. We're working on this farm, but I think he uses a repair power to top it off. To the west, we managed to kill his other granary here, his farm, whatever it is, and then his clansmen come out and clean us up. And the unit that he attacked with makes it back home, and I often opt to stay back and lick my wounds. So at this point, I'm trying to go for a bit of a peasant rush here. I'm getting as many peasants out as possible, and then I have the draft power. All peasants become armed, permanently gaining +5 damage and +10 health, and Rohan units gain +15% armor. So I'm trying to make a big mass of peasants. I'm gonna buff them all up so they're extra strong, and then I'm gonna hit him when he's not expecting. But he's got men pushing in along the southern flank now, chopping up that. He's got 2 other units that are pushing in along the north as well. And I push in mid, and he has cavalry out right away. Fortunately, I do have some spears mixed in here, so he takes a little bit of damage, doesn't get a huge trample on us. I think he takes out some peasants, but loses about half of his unit. And we're pushing in. He's attacking on both flanks, so I am rallying new peasants to try and guard, because I know he's at least coming from the south, and I can suspect he's going to be coming from the north there. We're pushing into his base. We're starting work on this granary, see if we could pull it down. Trying to carefully make sure I've got spears covering my archers, but it's tricky micro work. He's doing a good job keeping his cavalry away from spears, and I've only got the 1 spear unit here and 2 units of archers, so I'm trying to keep them safe. We do pull down a granary. We catch his men out up north and down south and rout or kill them, but I think we lose a farm up north as well. So we do a little bit of econ damage to him. He does a little bit of econ damage back to us. So far, quite equal. His men are charging in, and the peasants are just not quite able to win this battle. So he's got a pretty decent lead now. He's up to 400 some command points with a 400 max. And I am sitting on 100 command points on a 450 max. So I'm like one farm ahead of him. But he's just now cleaning up just about all my units that I sent at him. I managed to pick off one of his swordsmen here, but his archers are going to clean up what I've got. Alright. Back to the drawing table. What am I doing next? Well, we're getting Eowyn out. She's a bit late. We could have used her for that push for sure. Eowyn has a strong buff for peasants. Peasants near Eowyn gain 25% more armor and earn experience 100% faster. So we're going to keep with the peasants at this point in time. He's attacking to the north and attacking to the south again. A lot of cavalry coming in. Very good move. A lot of strong harassment from him. He's going to manage to pick up this farm from me down south. I'm transitioning to go stop him here. I've got like 2 units of peasants, 2 units of spears. We pop our draft to buff everybody up, and I've also got some horsemen of the mark onto the field now. And now I'm just seeing him come up north as well. We're just rebuilt this farm. It's going to go down again. So we've got a large force, so we're just pushing in down south since we've got Eowyn here as well. We might as well keep going. We do need to clean up him up here, so we've got some archers, some yeoman archers out, but I don't think they're going to pick off these swords in a time, and I'm going to lose another farm. So we need to at least make him pay for it. We'll pick off his southern farm here. His troops fall back because I've got a large force here with a lot of spears in it, and he's relying heavily on 2 units of cavalry to deal with me. He takes that farm down. We start pushing in the mid, but unfortunately we're going to run right into cavalry with some yeoman archers, and they get just blasted. So we clean up that southern granary, and we start pushing in with our own army here. Reinforcements chase him off the mid, so he starts coming back to his base. He's seeing the danger he's in. We get a decent trample through with our Rohirrim riders, but likewise he gets a good trample back through ours as well. We do catch him pretty well with some spearmen there and take out a whole bunch, but likewise he manages to pull down our Rohirrim riders as well. So still equal trades. I'm tasking a lot of my spearmen units here to tear down buildings at least. We're going to get this well. This is important. The well's a strong defensive structure. It provides a good buff to everyone fighting around, and I think it also heals them as well. And now he's sort of struggling because he doesn't have a good opportunity for these swordsmen to really get in and do damage, because all I've got left is pikes here. The Horn of the Westfold goes down to buff up some units. He opts for the Garden of Ithilien, which is also a strong damage buff and is inhabited by rangers as well. So just sort of the ragged bands. I separate my men a little bit. I'm going to see if we can pick up an extra granary here and just sort of keep his men busy. We're trading pretty decently. The peasants, once they've been buffed up with the draft, do a pretty good job. We managed to pull down this higher level farm in the back, or the granary in the back. So that was a big win for us. Even your farms, as they gain resources and stuff, will level up over time and become much more valuable, up to level 3. This one providing 31 resources instead of 25 because it's up to level 2. So pulling down those higher level ones can be very, very valuable because they're a strong economic hit, even more so than normal. We're picking on him up north. We managed to kill a builder. We engage with some of his riders. I'm also going to greedily push in with some of my archers, but his riders managed to beat my horsemen of the mark and then come up here and trample them down. My peasants make him pay at least with another one of his granaries. He's at now 500. I'm at 575, so just slightly ahead economically, and we're rallying a new force. What's it going to be next? Well, next up is I have opted to go for, and I can't find him. Here he is, Erkenbrand. So Erkenbrand is a strong defensive melee hero for Rohan, but critically he unlocks the Westfolders, who are a very strong, sort of semi-elite swordsman unit that I can now start making out of barracks. So I can transition off of peasants. I'm still using peasants a bit out of the farms because I need access to some spearmen, because the Westfolders do not have spears. They're just sword units, but they're very strong sword units. They, by baseline, have a shield wall formation you could switch them into for extra armor. Once they level up, they get the 4th Eolingas, which are a nice, strong damage and speed boost. He's harassing me again on the western side. I'm trying to task the right units, get my swordsmen chasing his spears, get my spears chasing his horses, but I have a strong push down the middle, trying to catch him off guard with my more elite infantry I've got here. And likewise, in the east, I managed to sneak a couple peasants, yeomen into the back, and we're gonna stab at that farm there. That blacksmith, rather. He gets a strong trample through. Now, my swordsmen are so strong that even when they're trampled, they still have 2/3 of their life, right? They've got a lot of armor on them. So as long as we can eventually protect them, they don't just get instantly wiped out by the enemy cavalry. My cavalry come through. I've updated to Rohirrim warriors, which are a higher tier of my own cavalry. I lose track of them when they get picked up in the back and cut up by some swordsmen. I could have been cycle charging back there, but I'm trying to micromanage my fighters up here. He gets a good charge on me, and so I'm seeing that I'm suffering. I've got really strong swordsmen, but I've only got a handful of spears left, and so his Pinnith Gelen riders are doing a nice job picking them up. We do pick up this other farm up top though, and we expand a bit as well. So you can see I'm at 725. He is now on 500, so we're starting to get a bit of a command point resource advantage over him. He has not been as diligent rebuilding out his farms, or rather they've just been getting killed by my attacks. He does manage to clean up all of my heavy infantry push though. I'm kind of running him in circles with a little yeoman spearman, but that's not going to do a whole lot forever. I'm expanding further south. He comes out with his cavalry, but I've already got units coming down here to protect it. So we chase him off with some Rohirrim warriors, and we've got a couple of units of Westfolders coming in the back. They unfortunately, again, don't have spears and just immediately get trampled down by his strong cavalry force. What a pain those cavalry can be. So we repay him in kind. Our Rohirrim warriors trample down some of his swordsmen. He's got some spears in here, but his chain trampling has done a good job. I run right into his spears and take a bit of hits on my Rohirrim warriors, and I think he's trading better here. He gets the better of me, so we've got a reinforcement coming out with a whole bunch of yeoman spears mixed in. I've learned my lesson. Strong yeoman spears force coming down, a couple of Westfolders, some more Rohirrim warriors. We're also pushing down the mid, another unit of Westfolders with spears. Swords and spears mixed together, it's match made in heaven. Spears keep you from being trampled, swords cut up whatever you need to cut up. Now we've got a good melee engagement right in the middle here. Now he has pretty standard tier 1 infantry for the most part, as far as I can tell at this point, and they're gonna struggle mightily to deal with the Westfolders and melee. Westfolders are a very tough unit. I like them a whole bunch. I rely on them pretty heavily here. Eowyn went down before. She's coming back out. She's level 3, so she can start using Readiness, which just summons another unit of peasants to the field permanently. So she's chopping stuff up. We're fighting here, but he is tenacious. He's got some Blackroot Vale archers out here who are leveled up to level 3 already and are causing me a fair bit of grief. I opt for the, what's it called? The Boar of Everholt, because I see my units are losing here. I should have ran Eowyn earlier. She's going to get killed. So I summon this wild boar, the Boar of Everholt, which is really cool. It's this boar that's got like spears sticking out of his back, and he's still like a raid boss. He actually attacks anything, so he'll even attack my own units. So I summon him deep in the enemy once I realize I'm losing, and he just runs rampant, and it's really hard to deal with him. Even if you hit him with counters like spears and stuff, he still like just smashes stuff. He's an absolute menace. He causes a lot of casualties on Gondor here, and buys me a lot of time to rebuild. I'm up to 800 command points. Gondor is at 500 still. The boar tearing his men apart. So we are rebuilding, and I've done another tech switch. Rather, I'm starting to do Rohirrim archers, which are a very strong mounted archer unit. Likewise, I'm also upgraded my barracks to a higher tier, so we can start with Edoras Kingsguard, which are an absolute elite, badass pike unit. Our Kingsguard, the new plan is for the Kingsguard to push out They're going to crush any enemy cavalry. He does have some Knights of Minas Tirith now, so he's got higher tier cavalry coming out, but they're going to be torn apart by the Kingsguard if they run into them. Spearmen of Minas Tirith coming out as well. He's got higher tech tier stuff coming, but we march. He's up to 542 of 600 command points. I'm at 575 of 925. So he pushes north with some cavalry. He catches one of my builders. I've got some spearmen up here that are going to try to cause trouble because he only has cavalry, but he's got a whole force pushing up as well. I've also expanded down south. Okay, I've got some spears over there to keep him safe, but here's my strong push through the mid. So backed up by the Rohirrim archers, which are a very strong ranged force. Not vulnerable to trample because they themselves are mounted on horses, so they can very safely pepper the enemy with a lot of ranged firepower. In go the Westfolders, in go the Edoras Kingsguard, and we're starting to trade really, really well into him. We're going to see if we could pull down this archery range. His cavalry charge up, and my cavalry say, we got bows, buddy, and we just blast him point blank in the face with some ranged firepower. He's not able to trample us, and his cavalry are much more focused on the trampling to do damage. He's not gonna, one unit of Knights of Minas Tirith are not gonna be able to melee effectively into 3 units of Rohirrim archers. I'm still being a little careful because I don't want to get picked off by spearmen. We don't want to give him easy trades like that, but we're doing a good job of putting a lot of firepower. His upgraded units, though, do manage to take down most of my infantry, so all I have left are my archer units here. I do have Eomer on the field now. He himself, boom, just took out a couple of units there with a spear toss. I have him dismounted because I don't want him to die by accidentally running into some enemy spearmen. Another round of Kingsguard and Westfolders show up. The Rohirrim archers managed to clean up some of the enemy. He does have Denethor on the field. I didn't even notice this, but Denethor slowly walking through, stabbing Rohirrim archers. But we get Eomer and a whole bunch of elite infantry right into the cookie jar here. And we are stabbing and doing good work. Eomer is an amazing hero because he makes it so anything that dies around him, you get paid for. So he's low, but I'm keeping him in the scrum here. He's actually dueling with Denethor. I didn't even realize this. That's very cool. So I pull him back now, but you can see these little +6s that pop up when things are dying. That's money straight into my bank because Eomer is nearby. He's got this Horse Lord at level 3. Eomer and nearby units earn resources per kill. Oh, so you get paid out when you win fights. And we're doing a good job here. We've cleared out most of the outside resources, and we're starting to pull down again his Monument to Elendil. He's having a hard time dealing with the Westfolders and the Kingsguard especially. I've got another force coming, sweeping around from the north, more Kingsguard, more Rohirrim archers, and he calls it. Victory! 2-0, we did it. Those were great games. They were a lot of fun. They were very sweaty, not easy wins at all. I had a great time playing with them. If you guys like that, let me know if you appreciate it. I've had a ton of fun playing the Age of the Ring mod. Again, this is absolutely free, a free game you can download right off of ModDB. It's called Age of the Ring. It is a mod for Battle for Middle-earth 2. It's got a great team behind it. There's great support for it. A ton of people are playing it right now. It's been a lot of fun. It's been really easy to find games. There's been a lot of new players learning the ropes of things. So it's been very newbie friendly lately. Just having a great time with it. Hopefully you enjoyed that as well. That's going to be it for today. A twofer for you, a Rivendell and a Rohan victory. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.